Aloha and welcome to Tutor Forum, Improving Writing Skills, brought to you by Hawaii Literacy's Adult Literacy Program. As learners move through the curriculum, their reading and writing skills will undoubtedly get better and better. Reading comprehension is an important skill to develop so that learners have a better understanding of what they are reading in their daily lives. At the same time, it is also important to support those writing skills so learners become flexible, fluent, and confident writers. As adults, we communicate through writing on a regular basis. We email, write notes, fill in logs, and take down data. For those who have lower than average writing skills, these simple interactions with writing can be overwhelming and feel like a major task to overcome. Most entry-level jobs on the market are increasing their demands of workers having writing skills, so it is important that we teach learners essential writing skills that will help them to be successful in their lives. Writing is essential for everyday life, so here are some activities that may be interesting and for the learners to practice their various writing skills. Today, I will go over 2 writing skills that tutors can teach to help learners develop their writing. First, we'll talk about creative writing, and then we'll get into research writing. Here are some suggestions for teaching essays. This may be helpful for learners who are planning to transition into college courses, or for learners who are enrolled in college classes. At some point in their post-secondary journey, they will encounter writing-intensive classes and will need to have some knowledge of organizing and writing an essay. Here are some suggestions for fun activities that can help get the learners started crafting well-written essays that include cohesive supporting arguments. Let's begin with this fun activity, Question a Day. Pose a question to your learner each day and give them around 15 minutes to answer. At the end of the week, have them choose one answer and develop it into a full essay. Post-it note essays. Give the learner an essay topic and a small stack of post-it notes. Have them write each idea they have on a topic on a separate post. When they are done, ask them to organize their post-it notes in a logical sequence. The learner can get rid of any post-it notes that don't quite fit in or are weak ideas or concepts. Run for president. Have the learner create one platform, which is an idea on which they would run for president. The learner would then write a persuasive essay supporting their own candidacy based on the select platform. For an extra twist of fun, the learner can turn the essay into a campaign speech. The tutor can give feedback if they would vote for the learner or not. This should be done in good fun only. The last activity is called Persuade Me to Try It. Learners can write an essay on their favorite activity, food, or gadget. This should be something unique, obscure, or fun. When the essay is complete, you can have your learner read the essay to you. Tutors can be the one to say if they would try it or not try the item. Alright folks, let's crack into it. Here are some tips to encourage creative writing. To help engage learners' creative writing skills, here are some different techniques to suggest to the learner to try at home to help encourage writing. Learners may latch onto certain techniques or may find a combination of a few to really help them to get into the creative writing mindset. The first tip is journaling. The best way to become a better writer is to practice writing. Encourage learners to keep a personal journal. To start off, you can offer journal prompts to help support the learner. After the learner starts to write regular journal entries, you can ask if they want to share some of the entries. Another tip is using the sandwich critique. Being honest and explicit is a wonderful tool, but too much negative feedback can be detrimental. Instead, when you comment, Make a critique sandwich. Start with one thing about the piece that you liked, one thing that needs improvement, and one thing that they should repeat in other writing. Doing the sandwich, you give your learner the freedom to explore new ideas and strategies without the fear of failure. This strategy will help them know what to work on, while also identifying skills that they have developed to use in a variety of writing styles. The next tip is to encourage reading. Good writers tend to read a lot. Learners can get inspiration from reading a great piece of literature. During tutoring sessions, you can break up the monotony of the curriculum by reading poetry, or have discussions about books you have read and love and recommend them to your learner, or just pick a book and have them read it. You can also write with your students. Tutors can set aside some time during your sessions and just write. And you can write with your learners. You can use topic prompts to help you both get started, or a tutor can make topics to write about using materials that they are working on. Tutors and learners can take turns giving each other sandwiches, as mentioned previously. This is also a great opportunity to share with your learners any pieces you have previously written. The last tip is compliments and praise. Tutors should provide consistent praise so that it will give your learners confidence in their writing. The more confident the learners become, the more you will see them want to write and be an active participant in their writing. Now that we have talked about tips for creative writing, here are some activities for creative writing. Number 1, fix the ending. Tutors can brainstorm with learners and come up with a list of movies that they have seen. Have them pick one and then have the learners rewrite the ending. Tutors can support their learners by prompting them with what-if questions. For example, tutors can ask questions like, what if the girls didn't answer the phone? What do you think would happen then? Next activity are storyboards. Learners can learn to organize a story by creating storyboards. Tutors can stretch this activity out to make it over a couple tutoring sessions and have the learner make the storyboards into a short movie or script. Next up is personification. The story comes alive. This can be a fun activity. Tutors and learners can head outside and you can ask them to write down the first moving thing that they see. The item could be a leaf, a bird, or a car. The only caveat is that they cannot choose a person. Then have them write a paragraph from that object's point of view. The last activity is pass the story. This is a fun exercise where both tutors and learners can pick a topic or genre that they would like to write about. Then tutors can start the exercise off by writing the opening sentence. The learner would add to the story by writing the next sentence. The story will get passed back and forth between the tutor and learner. When the time ends, then the learner can read the story and see how it played out. Also nice to mention that the story can be timed so that it becomes a fun beat the clock game. Let's move on to research writing. Now we'll talk about overcoming common struggles. Learners that are starting to take college classes may have issues when going up against the research paper. You can support your learners in engaging in the assignment by breaking it down into smaller steps. You can have your learner practice by doing smaller research writings. Choosing a topic. To practice, tutors can have their learners choose several different topics and then do some brief research on them. For each topic, have them note how many and what type of resources are available. Through noting what resources are available, it becomes apparent that their great idea doesn't have enough resources to support a full paper. Narrowing the topic. Start with very general topics. For example, we'll use rainforests. With some support from the tutor, the learner will pick, then add one more major word to the topic, like rainforests in Brazil or the Amazon. The learner will keep adding additional words one at a time until a clear topic emerges. The next step is the thesis statement. A thesis statement is a claim and a reason that supports that claim. You can support the learner create a working thesis that should be revised later by offering them this sentence frame for the thesis statement. Due to blank, the problem your research addresses, comma, blank, topic you're researching should do blank, X, Y, and Z statements that support your argument. Putting it all together, the example would be, due to the rapid deforestation of the world's tropical rainforests, Congress must act quickly to enact legislation to protect specific areas, put rations on all non-recyclable paper products, and offer aid to developing populations affected by deforestation. Take a look at the bottom of the slide for a visual of how to produce a thesis statement. The last step is organizing. The learner will write a first draft along with a brief outline that lists their major supporting points in short phrases. To help support the learner further, you will have them use different color highlighters or pens and have them assign each supporting point a different color. Each point should have the same color supporting argument. This will help tutors give more accurate feedback because it becomes apparent how well the paper is organized and what may need to be done to fix it. Let's move on to tips for teaching research writing. To help the learner, tutors should be clear about what the expectations are for the paper and try to encourage and engage their creativity. This is a great opportunity to inspire curiosity about a specific topic. Identify learning opportunities. During a tutoring session, you can ask the learner to make a list of things they want to know or are curious about. Encourage creativity, and you can set parameters for learners who you know will be overwhelmed if the assignment is too broad. You can do thematic suggestions, what they want to know about the animal kingdom or about the human body. A really wonderful tip is to provide a rubric. Rubrics are so helpful to show the learner exactly what you are looking for. It provides a clear framework of what they should be including in their pieces. When the learner writes a draft, the learner can use the rubric to see if the piece meets all the points on the rubric. What's a rubric, you say? A rubric is a scoring guide used to evaluate performance, a product, or a project. It has three parts. 1. Performance criteria. 2. Rating scale. And 3. Indicators. For you and your students, the rubric defines what is expected and what will be assessed. Whether for online or face-to-face courses, it indicates that you will evaluate according to specified criteria, making grading and ranking simpler, more transparent, and fair. And the final tip, of course, make it fun. Learners can choose topics that they are already interested in or are curious about. You can turn the research into a fun activity and make a public service announcement touting their research. For those learners who are hands-on, you can encourage them to create a display board or brochure that shows various parts of their research. Take a look at this slide and see an example of a rubric. Tutors. Any opportunity to practice writing is highly valuable. Good writing skills are sought after everywhere. Post-secondary education is writing intensive and requires students to be able to produce essays and many other written assignments. Many jobs place emphasis on writing skills in a potential hire, so it is important for learners to gain the skills that will help them be successful. Thanks for joining me at this month's Tutor Forum. Feedback is incredibly important to me. How'd I do? Comments, questions, complaints? Feel free to call at 808-778-9356 or email me at adultliteracy@hawaiiliteracy.org. Don't forget to catch our Tutor Forum Rewind, where we replay our monthly Tutor Forum for those who miss our meetings. You can find us on our Adult Literacy channel on YouTube.